You, on the other hand, grew up with a family that was in the business, a successful family. That, I always say, wow, that's exciting. But twofold, longevity, being able to have a career that you've had is, you can get your foot in, you can get your foot in the door, but to stay in and continue to do great work and push yourself but also there was probably things missing that normal kids would have dealt with.
Absolutely. My family was in the business, but my father was a director. So I didn't see him much. This was in early days of episodic television. And so he was gone a lot. It looked good from the outside, but it was definitely, I have brothers and sisters, so I always have to tread lightly on what I say, because it's interesting how everybody has a different perspective of their upbringing. For me, it felt really isolated. I felt, even though I'm one of 5, I sort of felt like we all had our own little areas. And, there was a lot of, my mother wasn't well most of my life. My mother died very young, and so did my dad. So, and in terms of getting me in the door, I didn't want to be an actor. So I was a musician, and that's what I was going to do. And my father, which I look back in hindsight now, he wanted to make sure I'd have health insurance. So he got me a SAG card by putting me in a couple of TV shows.
What were they?
I was in a couple of episodes of Columbo.
Wow.
And then I was in a TV movie with Dean Stockwell called The Failing of Raymond, where I literally played, and I was really stoned at this time in my life. I was like 15, 16 years old, smoking a lot of weed. So it was easy for me because I just played this like spaced out girl in a mental institution. But in hindsight, I realized I thought my father was always pushing me in a way that I didn't. I just wanted to play music. And I would say to him, no, I'm not going to be an actor. But now I look back and I think, oh, well, thank God he did that, because getting that card and getting in that door is really, it's major. That's a hard move to get in.
Did you love acting once you started doing it more and more?
Or
was it always music first? Still to this day, do you think music still is kind of up there?
Well, no. Now I really love being an actor, but I'm one of these that I learned on the job. When I got my first series, which was a show with Mary Tyler Moore, I had no idea what I was doing. And I was so full of shit. I just acted like I knew what I was doing. And, I had done, mostly I'd toured with bands all through my 20s. That's just what I did. And I made records. And then all of a sudden I was in a rock opera, and then people from CBS wanted me to come in and read for a comedy. I thought it was a joke. I didn't know what was happening. So I'm really able to be like,
a chameleon.
A chameleon, yes. Which is kind of like a character flaw and also a boon, like a good thing.
Yeah.
So I could sort of melt into now I love being an actor, but I remember when I was on Married with Children, I had a band and I would go play on the weekends. And I kept thinking like, I got to keep my real gig because this is not going to last. This is going to go
But didn't a lot
away.
of people start coming to the shows?
To see Married with Children?
That saw Married with Children to your gigs?
Yeah, I would get people to come, but I was like, I couldn't go on the road really at that point. So I was just like in Hollywood. I was just like, you're too young to remember all this, but
I'm 52 in July.
Do you know when the Viper Room was the Central?
No.
Used to be called the Central.
You called me out.
There you go. Do you remember Club Lingerie?
I remember it. I remember the name. I remember Club Lingerie.
Okay. So I used to play Madame Wong's. Do you remember Madame Wong's? No, Blue Lagoon.
I remember the movie The Blue Lagoon.
No. There was a club in the marina. No, it was really like, it was kind of the 80s rock, LA punk rock scene. And so I was sort of, in my paper mini dress, rocking it.